Hi, everybody. I am here. So we're set up a little bit different. As we know, this is Eli, the Marfan homie. I'm trying this double camera setup. So if I look away from this camera and then I look at that camera, I'm trying a lot of new things in this one video. And we have a very special guest that we're going to
Hey.
do this experiment with. This is my older sister. Her name is Reef Morton. So we're gonna give her a big round of applause and welcome my sister Sharifa. And of course, we still have the effects. So like I said, this is my sister Sharifa. She's watched over me since I can remember, since birth. I guess since my mother took this big-headed baby home. Um, but yes, Sharifa, could you introduce yourself to the people?
Hello. My name's Sharifa. Reef to my friends. Um, I am Elijah's big sister. Uh, I am number 3 in our lineup of 6 under my mom. And yeah, now I have my own family. Been married 10 years. Got my 2 little children, and we are living life, trying to stay happy.
That sounds wonderful. Again, my
Yay!
sister people. So let's do this. So we're gonna try to run through it the same way we do with the other episodes. So recap what's happened since. So I recorded last week, and so what's happened since recorded? I do have a. Oh well, this is not airing until like August or September, but of course we are still on track to drop a podcast, so there will be one before this that you guys should check out. There should be another podcast after this that you guys should definitely check out. What else has happened? Um, Nothing too much, so can't really go. How's the month going? So the month of June is we're doing good. So like I said, I'm gonna try to look at both of these cameras as much as I can, so everyone can feel included. But so how's this month going? June is going fine. Mid-year reviews at work, so this goes into how's work is going. Mid-year reviews, got a couple trainings to do, stuff like that. But we're not here for that on this episode. We are here for the meat, the substance of this episode. So, Sharifa, as I was writing these questions, I was realizing I was like, I wasn't the first one with Marfan syndrome to come home. So I'm gonna re-ask these questions a little differently. Uh, so as you know, again, we're on the Marfan homie, and I told my audience a couple podcasts ago that I was gonna try to get the perspective of like siblings, the ones that do have Marfans, the ones that don't, and Sharifa is a sibling that does not have Marfan. Um, However, the brother right below her, and of course me, we both have Marfan. So with that, yeah, I guess we're just jumping right into it. But so let's say for instance, when our brother came home, or like, how old were you when Kimani was born?
4 would be 5 later in the year. 4 years
Okay,
old. Yeah. So I'm like, and another 6 months after that, I turned 5. So yeah.
so then when of course like 4 or 5 years old, you didn't know what Marfan was or any clue.
No. No.
So I would say, or at what age did you, I guess, start to notice Kimani, or like start to notice or like hear about Marfan?
Honestly, I didn't hear that term until they started. Uh, oh my God. Let me say it like this. I'm gonna just say it. More fans wasn't a thing in the household until you came home and they started taking it seriously.
All right, that's even better. That's even better because I think that would align with like Kimani. And I don't know how much he wants me to talk about him on here,
Mhm.
but what Kimani had is, I think it was like a back surgery or something like that. Whatever he
Nor
had to
even
do.
no, When he was born, when he started to come into his toddler stages,
Yeah,
everybody noticed that his chest was
caved in.
I don't know what the
I don't know
term
the technical
is,
term either, but
but yeah, but because of ignorance and because we come from a crass Jamaican family, they would call him deformed. Because of the chest thing, we didn't understand. We just knew that his dad had it, and we just was like, well, it's like a birthmark. Um, it's like a birthmark that his dad has, so it just trained on. But the cruel ones would use the term deformed. Um, but he was Kimani, tall. We just like, oh, he's tall like his dad,
hmm
or oh man, he walks like his dad. We just thought it was just a hereditary thing,
a
but
hereditary thing.
really didn't take it seriously or didn't even have a term. I don't remember a term for the condition until you were born, and then they started taking it seriously and seeing the right doctors or getting the right advice.
Okay, so then the next question is, how old were you when I was born?
Oh, that sweet baby. 12.
Okay,
Yeah, 12.
and then at 12 years old, like you said, I guess people didn't start taking it seriously until I came. But like at 12 years old, what were you aware of with your youngest brother then? Like, what was
You
like?
or
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Well, for you, we noticed it was your feet, and with it didn't. We were just like, oh, he was too big for the womb, so he didn't because you were a large baby. So
Really?
in ignorance, we was like, oh, he just couldn't fit, so his feet didn't form all the way. Well, I mean, they were formed, but the bone structure or whatever.
hmm
We were like, man, that was a big baby. I don't know if mommy thought that way, but in ignorance as a 12-year-old, or I don't know where I get that information from.
Okay,
It
no,
had
that's.
to
I
be
mean,
said
again,
otherwise.
that's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, again, 12 years old. I wasn't really stunting this at 12 years old,
But
but
when they started taking you to doctors to see like what it was, and then being referred to the right doctors, and it's like, oh, we can put a name to it. Marfan syndrome. These are some of the things. These are some of the occurrences that can happen in those babies born, like as far as like their physical um things that can happen during utero and all that kind of stuff. So it's just like, oh, okay. And then I remember later when you were a toddler, you had the braces or whatever, not braces, but the little plastic mold.
for your
And
for my feet.
yes, 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 yes.
Okay.
And even for your hands for a little second to try to like flatten them out like so, because
Uh huh.
you had the curvature in the top knuckle, like right above the palm. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's when we started getting an actual name and treatment, or you know not even treatment, whatever the word is, it escapes me. Things to use to help your bones as they grow.
See, I didn't even know that. I had no clue about any of that. So like, how often was I going to the doctor then? Like, how often would mommy take me to the doctor? Or like, yeah.
I feel like you were at the doctor a lot, especially because the braces. They had to do the molds of your feet and your hands, and that's when mommy started taking the heart doctor stuff really seriously and just monitoring y'all. Like when y'all got into like school or whatever, um, and then you guys grew so fast. So um, it was Kimani's growth spurt, whatever that, however old he was at the time, when he had like obvious scoliosis and curvature of the spine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you guys went often, often. I would say maybe 3 or 4 times a year, maybe, for different things.
3 or 4. That's a lot. 3 or 4
Yeah,
times a
because
year. That's a lot.
I know you guys had consistent doctors, at least I might be remembering it wrong,
Shout out
but I
to
feel
Dr.
like you
Fife,
guys had consistent doctors.
Dr. Fife of Emory. Shout out to
Consistent
him.
doctors.
Um, so okay, thank you. Uh, so
Ooh.
that would sound about like when you first learned about Marfan. I guess when I came around, there was no name to put to it. I guess when Kimani
Mm-hmm.
or took it more seriously since Kimani. All right. So with that, I guess you didn't really answer it. So I could ask it. What were your initial thoughts about Marfan? Like, what did you like? What did you just think? Like, okay, he's going. My brother's going to the doctor over and over. He has these things structurally, physically going on with him. Like, what did you think Marf? Like, without definition from the doctor or anything, like what did you think Marfan was, or what were your initial thoughts about it?
in without guidance or teaching, it was just like, oh, they just grow really fast and they're just very tall and they're just lanky and long, and
Like,
and
did
with
you know
you.
the heart complications would follow
No,
with?
we didn't.
No.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I think it more so came into play when your dad started having the enlarged heart issue and stuff like that, which prompted mommy to then get on top of you guys' heart health
Okay.
because of the things your dad. It was revealed that your dad had like an enlarged heart at really early 2000s or something like that,
Uh huh.
I think. And then it was just like, oh, and then you learn that this is a characteristic. You need to stay on top of it. You can with treatment and preventative measures, you don't have to get to that point, and then managing stress levels and stuff like that. So
Uh huh.
we didn't know nothing about the heart stuff until, well, I didn't,
Uh huh.
until your dad came up with heart issues.
Okay. Um. So I guess that leads into before July of 2012. I just think back to that point. Before that, were you ever scared for my life? Like, again, that was my first major heart
Well,
surgery, July of 2012. Like, before then,
oh
did you ever
yes.
think like what were your thoughts? Like, man, I gotta protect him, or like what?
Oh
What?
yeah, you know you was my first baby, so that was like literally my first baby. I don't know if you want the people to know. I wipe your butt
Oh, this
and
is candid
and
as
and
possible.
and you was my first baby, because you know I was 12, so and then mommy was busy or working or I just had a lot of responsibility as
Mm-hmm.
at that time. That's another podcast, but I remember being very
Hands on.
possessive
Okay.
of you. Uh, get your afro just right. You
Hey,
the
if y'all
cutest,
see my
hairiest
baby
little,
pictures, if y'all
the
see my
cutest,
baby
hairiest
pictures,
little baby.
it was like,
Very hairy, the biggest eyes you ever seen. And then for a little boy, he had the little baby hairs. It's like, oh, look at this little baby hairs. And I brush it down, grease you up real right. But you know, in your early years, you didn't walk traditionally like a baby did. So I
okay,
was very protective of you. But you wanted you're a child. Your brain is developing, your rest of you is developing, and you want to play. You want to be active. You want to do the things. So, um, you started out on your knees, like to get around, right? You know, just scoot around on your knees or whatever. You
mm-hmm.
had to go. You had stuff to do. You had to play. You had to keep up with the rest of us. I mean, the you know, being the youngest one with all of us, you had to keep up, or you wanted
Yeah,
to keep up. And you're a baby, and babies move around and explore. So I remember being just all in your face. I remember when you stood up for the first time. I was the one who saw you stand up. I remember it vividly. It was in mommy's room, at the top of her bed, right across the door from the bathroom.
And this is at
And
2074.
mm-hmm. And I
Katie
saw you
Georgia.
stand up. I saw you stand up in the bed. Lost it. I lost it.
Uh,
Man, I knew I should
so
have
what?
bought my box of tissues. But anyway, you stood up, and I think I was the only one there because I was always all over you. And I was like, ah, he stood up. He stood up. I think you were almost two at the. No, you were definitely past one. I think, or I would say past one because you're November '94.
Late
Moved in
bloomer
that house
guys,
in
you know,
'90.
walking is an expertise.
But everything else, nah, you was on it. Um, yeah, I remember that. That was, yeah, you were well past one.
So like,
Well past.
with the, of course, being the possessive sister, which is great. Um, I guess what would the first moment of being like, not necessarily like he might lose his life, but like just being scared, was that my first heart surgery? Because mommy said I had a hernia surgery, but I don't
Oh
remember.
no.
But like,
you were a baby. You had the big pop belly button that they had they had to, but that was like babies be having hernias. So yeah, they had to do like a go to the hospital, come right, no overnight stay. It was just like a little quick procedure. I remember as you said it, I remember. Then I would just be protective with and I remember we used to have to massage your feet too. Like,
really?
Like massage them. Because, with the pressure points that you had when you started walking, we had to like just make sure we just rub your feet because you get the calluses or whatever, and just to alleviate some pain. But you also used to have those dang nose bleeds, and it was like you can't even call it a nosebleed. This thing was a massacre. Like I remember one night, mommy was out, and I don't know if I went to check on you or you came to me. You're probably about 5 or 4. It was bad. It was. I thought you were dying. That's how much blood came out of your nose.
And for those
And it was
that
like,
1 second, Sharifa. But for those that don't know or didn't know, or if I haven't mentioned it on this podcast yet, I think I did. But my note, I don't think this is honestly a part of Marfan's, because between me and my brothers, no one me and my family, but just like between me and my brothers with Marfan's, no one knows bleed as much as mine, and I don't think no one's nose should bleed as much as mine did as a kid. But like she was saying, I did. My nose bled all the time. So yeah. But so what were you saying? You said like it was like you thought it was a lot of blood.
It was it was a murder scene. Like and I was calling mommy like frantic because the amount of blood that came out of you, I thought you was dead, child. I thought it was over. So when she gets back and we get you in the car, I'm in the back seat with you holding your head, and you just like starting to fall asleep and stuff. And I was like, wake up.
What?
And I remember you just was tired. This thing, child, I'm gonna have to unpack this. And I remember I'm like got the tissue and I see like this thing in your nose. I thought it was mucus. This is how much I was your mom. I put my hand in your nose and I took that mucus out, but it was a huge blood clot. Like huge. And I flung it. I was like, and I flung it in the back of the car somewhere. Cause you was like, even when I took it out, you were like, like you could tell that you could feel it coming through your nasal cavity.
They hurt. They
And I didn't
definitely hurt.
know. I didn't know what that was. I was just like, I thought you had mucus, so I was just cleaning your nose. Um, as I do, and man, that thing scared me. That scared me. And get you to the um I think we went to Children's Hospital ER or whatever, but I
Hmm.
was so upset that day, so upset, but that's you know, for other reasons. I was upset that I was just upset. No baby should have to be having baby. To me, although you literally was not a baby at the time, you're like 4 or 5. No baby should have to have a nosebleed like that.
Yeah,
And
it was. I've had my fair share. I think I remember. I think you were in New York at this time, but I remember one time I knew my nurse at my elementary school. Like we were on first name basis. I only called her Miss Hanks out of respect. But she's like, "You in here again?" I was like, "Hey man." So one
I'm
time I went
sorry.
in there. She couldn't even stop it. She was like, "I'm gonna have to call the paramedics."
I don't
And
know.
so the paramedics came up to the school that day. I think I probably like she like one like a couple of days of like, oh, he lost like a liter of blood or like 20 ounces. Like you can count it however they count it. I think that day I was up to like 1 or 2 gallons of blood before they even
Oh
came,
no.
and like it was a lot. It was blood. It was clotting, but it still would go. It was clotting, but it still would just bleed. And she was like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to call the paramedic." And honestly, they didn't even do anything. They was just like, "Unless he faints, there's nothing we can
Oh
really do."
no. What
Cause
the
like
heck? Somebody take me back
they
my nose or something. Jesus.
they they tried the pinch on the nose, pinch on the the cartilage, pinch on this little hard cartilage, I guess. Um, but they was just like, "We just gonna have to let it run out." Like, and then of course they gave me like a whole bunch of water to try to replace, I guess, all everything that I lost, but it was a lot of blood. Apparently, it was so big that it was on a Friday. That same Friday, one of our church members to the church we were attending at that time, um, he said, "Yeah, I heard." I was like, "You heard what?" He's like, "I heard about you. Your the nosebleed. It was on the news. It was on the radio." And I was like, "What?" But
What?
yeah, it turned into a thing for like
The,
DeKalb
the
County
nurse
somehow.
probably called and was like, Lord, they was like, how was your day today? I almost this little boy bled out on me.
But
Oh man. No, that
it
was
was
why I was in college.
yeah, it was definitely a thing. Yeah, this was probably like fourth or fifth grade. Definitely while you were in college. I was about to say NYU, but for the people, it was Long Island University, right?
No.
Dang,
Brooklyn
where?
campus. Not
Oh,
CW Post. No, it was LIU Brooklyn campus because
oh, okay.
there's a few different campuses.
Okay. See. I needed
Mm-hmm.
to get it correct, but LIU Brooklyn campus. Either way, she left up, but I understood. I understood, especially after hearing today. I'm glad you got up and got going. But so
Man.
now we fast forward to I think I was 17 years old because I didn't turn 18 yet, and I think you're back at home. Yeah, you were back at home. This is high school, so you had moved back, and
Yeah.
I had my first heart surgery. Um,
When was it?
this was July of
Okay.
2012,
Okay.
and I remember the morning. I remember the day before, 2 days before. It was 2 days before. I went to the appointment. They said it's time. They said it's grown to this much, and this is the preventative thing that you were talking about, like how they would measure your heart valves and stuff like this, and just
Mm-hmm.
again take preventative measures or just constant measures to see when it's time to operate. Um, so I remember that like 2 days before, it's like it's time. Me and mommy went, and I think you came to the appointment
I
because
think so. Yes.
I think you came to the appointment, and so we went, and they were like, "It's time," and so I came back home, and then like our other brothers, I think like Jamar and Khadijah at the time, they were like, "You know what they about to do to you, right?" I was like, "Nah, they just about to open the skin up, right?" Tell me why,
Oh my
Jamar. He
God.
was like, "Oh no, they about to break you." I was like, "What?" But so again,
Oh God,
I guess this
Jesus
has
help
been like
us.
one of the ways to get to your heart for this particular surgery, and this was grafting or drafting, whatever the word is, my ascending aorta. So what they had to do, as I explained at the beginning, they ripped open the skin, of course, and then they broke the sternum of my chest and had it was I guess it's cool, but they had like the little pliers that would open it.
The
But before then,
separators.
yeah, the separators. And so that's when my brother was like explaining to me. I was like, dude, you just took my fear level from like a 1 to like a 100. I didn't know. I mean, again, I'm like
They
17
probably
years old.
intentionally didn't tell you.
I didn't know what was going to happen, or I don't think my sister or my mom did either. But that day of the surgery, it was like 3 in the morning. I think showtime was like 5. I didn't wake anybody, and I think this is Sharifa was like, "Why didn't you tell me? Like, why didn't you wake me?" Because I saw her when I woke up at the hospital. Oh no! She called beforehand, and she was like, "Oh wait, I wanted to come. Why didn't you?" But then I saw her when I woke up. But I didn't. I didn't. I was still didn't know like the significance of like what was going on. But like at that time, how did you like again? Besides like praying and hoping for the best, what were you feeling at that time? Like I don't think at that time any of us had a surgery again. Like besides my dad, but like any of us. Well, Kimani had
Well, Kimani had
the
this scoliosis.
yeah, he had that surgery. But like it wasn't it wasn't an open heart surgery. That was dangerous. That's his spine and everything. However, this
Hmm.
one was like with the heart. How did you how did you feel?
Oh man,
Like what were the feelings?
terrified. I mean, definitely terrified. I don't think I even slept that night. Really, um, terrified, terrified because I knew what they had to do. Ain't no way you gonna put a graft on somebody's aorta and not crack them open. Ain't no way. So I knew. Um, and I was terrified because you're my baby brother, and I knew it was gonna
Hmm.
be painful. As far as like recover, that feeling of when you wake up, or oh my God, is he gonna wake up? Like, are they gonna mess my brother up, man? Or or it was just scary because that's a huge thing, and I always think of you as that little baby um who first stood up in the bed, and I'm just like um and I'm just like, this is major. They are messing with people's connections, vital vital organ connections, and this is a kid, granted taller than most kids, but a kid, and this is my baby brother, and I knew it was going to be a heavy.
Contrary contrary to popular belief, in 3rd grade there was this dude actually taller than me. I think I
they
was the
need
tallest
they
one
need to
in the
get him
class.
checked out.
Dude was taller than me and hitting backflips. I was like, all right, this is a whole nother level of third
You'd be
grade.
like,
I just,
oh, this
but,
man, this man's
but,
one of them adults that poses children.
that like that morning, and I think so like when I woke up, I guess it was like hallelujah. Like, what was that
Well,
feeling?
no,
Oh,
because
see,
mommy said,
something else I don't know.
remember,
What happened?
you
I
didn't
don't.
know that they broke you, like they messed up, and then you started bleeding out into your chest.
I
Mommy ever told you?
I probably forgot about this, but you can keep
You
going.
probably you
What?
probably repressed that, but you coded. They didn't close you up right, and you coded. And mommy just something was telling mommy not to leave that night. It was like, oh, you can go home. He's gonna be resting for a minute, and he's just he'll we're gonna keep him sedated, and he's gonna be resting. And mommy's like, nah, I don't know.
I died.
You started you started coding. The stitches ruptured, and they had to go and rush and open you back and fix it.
Oh, I didn't. I didn't know
Yes.
about this. I didn't know about this.
You repressed that memory, or mommy just never had the courage to talk about it. You got to ask her. Your stitches ruptured. If I remember correctly, I could be that guy on the corner who exaggerates stories, but if I remember correctly, mommy said if I was not here, they probably would have killed my child because your machine started going crazy while she was sitting
What?
by your side, and they were encouraging her to go home prior to that, because recovery, you're gonna be knocked out forever. Come back in the morning, you started bleeding out, coded, and they were rushing, crack you back open and fix the stitching.
I don't.
So when I
I don't
came,
remember this. I don't remember this.
ask mommy. She probably don't like to talk about it because I could not imagine that happening with DJ or Kinsley, because I would have turned into a fool. I would have been like, they would have been like, get her out of here. She's hysterical. Um, but yeah, they had to crack you back open and fix it. I was like, were they not prepared for him? Like, of course, yeah, he's the stature of a adult male. Of course, you, because of your age and the history, you went to a children's hospital. So I don't know. I was like, did they not have the right materials? Did they not have the strength of materials? Did they not anticipate? Well, you had a really strong heartbeat too, anyway. So maybe it was just too strong. I don't know. Whatever. Or somebody got tired and did a half. I don't know. Mommy should have sued.
Man,
But anyway, that's new. They almost killed a baby. I would have cleared that whole hospital out. But the next day, so they fixed it, corrected, and I remember when I came in, I think Derek was with me. That's when we would,
that's when y'all first started around that time.
yeah. I seen all the machines. When you see it's jarring when you see all the machines and you have the tubes and the things, and they got you wrapped up like a I don't even know what to call it, like like bubble
And
wrapped.
you know what's
Man,
crazy is that for one, the nurses nor the doctors ever. And you know what? No, you know what happened? I think I
ask mommy. I
remember.
might be exaggerating.
I remember a little bit of this now. When I woke up, I was ready to go, and they was like, "Give it a couple days." I was like, "No, I'm ready to go." I think I spent 3 days max in the
Yeah,
hospital
you
that
you
time
got it. You
around.
was like, I need to get out of here. You felt. I was like, why you feel like
However,
you need to go home so soon?
I wanted to leave. However, I remember during that time, the surgeon never came in the room. He only came the first day out. He never came back. And I think I probably
They
hearing
probably
the
advised
chatter,
him not to.
they was just I hearing the chatter, they was just like, "Oh, I know why he's not gonna come back. I know why he's not gonna come back." And I was like, "I don't know why he's not gonna come back. Let me in on the secret."
You almost
But
killed that baby.
I guess that had something to do with why he never came back in the room. I didn't know, but what I will say about that recovery time, and you're probably gonna get a laugh out when I first got the day I got home, but during that recovery time, like I told y'all previously, I was ready to go. 3 days in the hospital. They said I recovered fast. They pulled the chest tubes out. I don't like that feeling at all, and I've had to go through it 3 times at this point. The chest tube is sucky, but remember I was on them drugs heavy, and then when they sent me home, I had that nightmare, and I started yelling, and you and Amber had rushed to the room.
I think it's probably off them drugs. But I
It
think
was
I
those
remember.
drugs, bad. But
Like,
like, all right, well then, dang, if you got that to say about the first surgery, I would love to hear
every
what you
one of
have to
them is
say about the second one. When
every last one of them is
my
terrifying.
first one in Texas, my first one in Texas. What do you remember about that moment? And
Is that the
that was
one I
just a
came
bare
out there?
Yeah, that was when I was with my ex at the time, and then
But did
we,
I have Kensley with me,
yeah,
or
Kensley
did I
was
come
like,
by myself?
no. The first time around, you didn't bring Kensley. The second time around, you brought Kensley. But we had called. Well, yeah, we had called you that morning, I called you before I called mommy, but we had called
Mm.
you that morning, and they was like, and I told you I was like, hey, they said I had to have heart surgery. And you was like, what? Um,
I
this and it
gotta
was
go.
this was like if this was like 7 in the morning for me, it was probably like 8 for you. And and then you were like, do you want me to tell mommy or do you want to tell mommy? I was like, you can leave. I'll wait for her to call me. So you called her and then she called me. But like, what else? Like, do you remember about that moment? Because I remember you were telling uh my ex that this is about to be like nothing you've ever seen before. He's gonna look
Oh
weird.
yeah, the
He's
machines
not
and
gonna the
stuff.
machines. He's gonna look swollen. He's not gonna look like the person that you know. And I think that
Mm-mm.
like I don't know. I just want to get your perspective. Like, what was everything going through your mind at the time?
I was like, everybody get out of my way. This is my baby. You got to move. Um, dude, I'm trying to remember.
I remember.
I think
I
I just.
remember
But
everything vividly, like all 12
if I
days,
had, if I had
everything. But what do
kids
you
by the
remember?
time, if I had kids by that time, I don't remember nothing. I'm depleted. My brain cells are fried. Why did they say you needed the surgery? Tell me again.
So let's walk down memory lane. In May, I don't know if y'all remember that May before I was hospitalized because they said I had a dissecting my abdomen, my abdominal, whatever you say, the the aorta part that was in my
Oh,
abdomen had
the
dissected.
big surgery.
Yeah, the big surgery
Oh,
that I got.
jeez.
The big surgery
What
that
is?
I got this one. But
Sorry, the
so
big one.
that
Cause
May I
when
had the
yeah, and then I
dissection.
spoke to the doctor. I spoke to the doctor. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was describing to me what he had to do. It almost fainted. The first time in my life, I never fainted ever in life,
Um.
but I would assume that's how it feels to feel faint when they were describing what needed to be done. Um, because that was the big,
Like 10
big
hour, 8, 10 hour surgery. Heart, heart surgery at
man.
that.
I was again terrified. And then, did we have a video call with that?
There's a lot of photos. I don't know who took a video, but there's a lot of photos.
Was there a video call or did I get out there and he did the drawing of what he had to do? I
Well,
don't
at that
remember.
point, but I would think by that point of like when you got out there, the surgery was done. Because I remember mommy had to stop work that day, and I think you flew out that day or the next day. I just know you were there when I woke up because they had to keep me sedated for like a half a day.
Okay, so the doctor probably called and described to me what needed
Uh
to be
huh.
done. Y'all all called, and he was saying that he would have to.
Describe it. If you remember, please describe it.
Elijah, man, that thing was so terrifying. I think I repressed that memory. I just remember the feeling on my insides of just like,
Mhm.
oh no. And I was like, it's not fair. I gotta get cut my brother like this. You gonna cut all his bones. And, oh god. Because when he said he had to go through the back, I was like, what are you doing back there? Don't got nothing to do with nothing. So they had to get to you from the back. Oh. And I was like,
So,
you gotta do what?
if this is your first time on the podcast, I'll explain it briefly. So, this was a
I'm
AAA
sorry.
surgery. This was the abdominal aorta aneurysm, aneurysm of the abdominal
Oh,
aorta.
Jesus.
So,
Look, you get the church shutters.
so
Ay.
let's basically, as I try to sit and talk, from my belly button to the top of my back, they had to open that much to replace, no
Like a
grafting, no
hook.
stitching, replace from the ascending, like I guess is when it stops being the ascending and it's the descending aorta, from the descending aorta down to a portion of my belly button. like where my belly button lies. So they even moved my belly button during that time too. But so just imagine
Whoa.
all of that being replaced for the people that are watching and listening. Um, but then of course, well, not of course, sadly, I had to have the rest of that replaced 2 years later. So I had that surgery, the first one in November of 2018, and then I had the second one
Ah,
in May of 2020.
I think it was even more scary because technically they had to keep you alive on a machine while they did the process.
For both of them, yeah.
You were not. It was. We have to stop normal function of his heart, and we'll put him on like a bypass machine or something like that, or whatever the machine is that keeps you alive. It keeps the blood flowing. That's when I lost it because it was like you're technically you're not doing the traditional organic living. It's
Hmm.
machine living for that time. And it was how long was the surgery? You said 10 hours?
Yeah, about 10 hours.
Man, yeah, I came by myself. Um, I
So when
remember
you
going
saw
in and get
me, uh, sorry, when you saw me,
no.
like when you came and when you saw me on the bed, like what,
You was
what
like,
was it?
your tongue was swollen out your mouth. This was the most machines I ever seen in my life. Like even more so than the first surgery.
Hmm.
Wrapped up, I mean, swell up. Your hands were like balloons. Um, but again, that your heart looked like it was you was your heart was shaking like that. You always had that strong heartbeat. Like you looking at his heart, it's like he got a dance party going on in there. But it was jarring because the machines, the amount of machinery used to monitor you at the time, and then your appearance, your face was swollen and under sedation with the tube, your tongue was swollen, and it it was that thing right there. Yeah,
As you can see, she can't even finish the describing it. It was a lot.
yeah,
I
it
mean,
was a
it was
lot.
a lot.
It was a lot because it was a very when that doctor described to me what he needed to do, now I'm like, but why? But why you gotta do all that? It doesn't really have to be all that. Yeah, it gotta be
Like,
all that.
and then I'll admit, and I've admitted it before, when he was describing it to me the night before, like literally 6 hours before this man was about to take advantage of me or
Yeah.
whatever.
I was
But
like, you do this to a lot of. Do you have you done this before? Like, do you
and
do this
apparently
to other
it's
folks?
apparently it's a popular surgery within the older community that don't have Marfan. So
Oh, oh.
but what was I about to say? He as he was describing it to me the night before, I didn't feel any type of way until he mentioned the spine. That's when I cried. I cried when he
You're
said
my bad.
I cried when he started to mention the spine. And because again, everyone knows like one nerve on the spine can cause you damage for the rest of your life. But what was it? But then I met the anesthesiologist, and he described to me what the epidural was going to do. And then during that time, of course, during the surgery, I had the epidural, calm your nerves down within your spine and stuff like that. But then I think you were there during the time I had the scare when we were in the ICU, and they were trying to stand me up, and they said, if you ever feel any like nausea or anything like that, tell us because we have to sit you down because that means your spine is acting up. And I felt nauseated. I was like, I think I'm about to throw up. And they like
Mm.
stopped everything. They laid me down. And remember, the anesthesiologist wasn't in the hospital that day. They had to call him to administer the epidural. And I think I had like stayed on my side for like an extra hour or two while he like came to the hospital. But like
Oh
it,
yeah,
it wasn't an easy time. And I think you were there that time.
it was horrible.
I slapped the nurse because they were trying to flip me over. It was accidental, but
It
I
was
had
no, it
slapped
was
the nurse.
horrible. I hope you apologize to that lady.
Oh no, no, it
Did
was
you?
Dust. It was a dude. It was Dustin. His name was
Oh,
Dustin.
you give
And
him one
then
box. Oh yeah, Dustin.
see, it's 12 days, and he was my nurse for like 8 out of those 12 days. Um, I'm surprised he came back. 'Cause I slapped the mess out of him. But
It was painful. It was.
coincidentally, he was my nurse the next time around. He was like, "You remember me?" I was like, "I'm gonna keep my hands to myself." But
Oh man, that thing. What I tell you this? Oh, okay, because mommy came in eventually, and it was yeah. Oh man, and we was just bunked up. Did we go back and stay at y'all place? I
you
think we
went
did.
home to take a if I remember, like you went home to take a shower one night
And
and
y'all
came
had a dog,
back.
no?
Yeah, we had a dog. Yeah.
And walked the dog. The dog almost pulled me across the place. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I remember you did not have a good time. It
No,
wasn't like that first surgery where you was just like, I'm out. No, this one was like, sit down. If you'll go sit your behind down somewhere. Yeah, that one took you out
yeah, I was
as
on
far
bed
as like
rest for like
pain
5 days.
levels.
It was bad.
And you
I
couldn't leave
couldn't
until you
sleep.
poop. They like you can't leave until you poop. I was like, how are you supposed to poop? Like, who wants to poop with a big gash in your back? Like,
When I
what the
tell
heck?
and I'm about to say, forgive me, folks. When I tell you that was the most painful first passing of stool ever, because think
I
about it.
can't imagine. I
My
cannot
muscles
imagine.
on this side are still sleeping. Like they're still sleeping. So now you got to use every ounce of the non-abdomen muscle. Might I remind you, he removed some of my abdomen muscles on the left side. I had to use whatever I had left. And they was like, don't force it. But like the paint, the stool softener and the Miralax and the Deucelect barely worked. It took a couple days for me to pass that stool, and even when it came out, the way it did, my body itself was still in pain. Because even then, I had to sit up right. I didn't know how to sit up right. Like my whole body was just depleted and gone.
It
Um,
was tough.
it was a process. Those are like, I was like, if you make it through those 12 days, you can make it through anything. Like day for day, hit for hit. Like I remember, it
Yeah,
was
because we were
bad.
watching TV.
We was
was up
chilling.
there. You know,
We
we
was
just had to do what we had to do, pass the time because. Oh.
and
But I
and I
remember.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I remember, feeling fortunate that you guys landed in the region of Texas that y'all landed in to get to one of the best hospitals in the country. Like it's like everything for a reason. Like the blessing in you being placed in Dallas at that time in your life, or Fort Worth or whatever, to get to that hospital with the right doctors. To like, God saw it all. Like, you're gonna need to be here for this particular doctor, for this particular care, for this, us not knowing future events, but like God knowing all, and for you to be there and get that type of procedure done with one of the top doctors.
Top heart doctors in the state of Texas, dang near the country. Shout out to Dr. Brinkman at
Exactly. So it was
Baylor
just all
Scott and
you
White
just had
Heart
to see.
Hospital in Plano. Shout out to y'all.
You just had to see the blessing in that, because who knew that was gonna happen? Nobody.
It was a thing.
I was like, I'm
a
just
thing.
remembering the description. I think it was it was. I think we was on FaceTime. Was FaceTime out back then? I'm
Yes.
sorry, I don't be thinking. But when he did the line and he's drawing the things and the
Oh, I remember we did FaceTime y'all. And, I remember.
And he did the drawing.
Because he did.
And then I
did
started crying.
a drawing.
I started crying. I started crying when he did the drawing. And Derek had to take the phone. I was like, and then like throw yourself on the floor. Like, why are you throwing yourself on the floor? Get up.
I remember. Oh man, see, this is the benefit of having everyone around you while stuff is like this is going on.
I was just like, you gotta do what? And I was like,
It was a thing, man.
Like, get up, get up, get up.
It was the same. And then, like, honestly, at this point, I'm not even gonna bring up the third surgery because, but with the third surgery,
But what? That was planned. Was it planned or
it was
no? Or
planned.
that was
It was planned, but it was pushed back because
no?
COVID hit. COVID hit. It was planned
Mm.
for January of 2020. COVID hit, and then they pushed everything back. So I had still
Ooh.
got my second ankle surgery in January of 2020, but the heart surgery couldn't do it.
And then went back for a heart surgery. I was like, "Are you crazy?" You just like can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah. During that time, I had my first ankle surgery in November of 2019, second one January 2019, and the heart surgery May 2020. My bad, January 2020 and May 2020. So I think that's within 8 months. I had three surgeries.
I was like, "This man trying to kill me. He's
I,
trying to kill
I was,
me."
I was on a roll. But we're not gonna talk about the third one too much because the second one is just so painful. But oh yeah, round of
That
applause
thing,
for
I was like,
Sharifa making it through it. But the third surgery, my mom, my brother, my sister, three sisters, and I feel like somebody else came, but probably didn't. But y'all came down and
"Oh,
spent
that.
a
Oh,
couple
I
days
remember
with
that
me.
trip."
That was a good time. Even then, I came home. I wasn't as sore, and I think as I talked it over with Jules, it was like your body gets used to like things like that. So like with my first ankle surgery, my body, I was going through it. I was like, what is this? My leg felt like it weighed
It's
a
like,
ton. But
"Oh
the second
no."
ankle surgery, it wasn't as bad, and I got out the cast to be able to walk again that much faster. Um, but with this heart surgery in May 2020, there was pain. Do not get me wrong, but it was definitely nothing like uh November of 2018. But again, they came out. My family came out. They spent like a couple of days, like the rest of that week with me, honestly, and then they drove back. But I appreciate y'all for that one. But I guess next question that it would be, um, what did yeah, there we go. Like from all those experiences and just like the phone calls about each of the five surgeries, the being there, the not being there, what did you like what did you learn throughout that time? And again, prayerfully there's no more surgeries. I pray for that every day. But like during all of those that from 2012 to 2018 just thinking like, okay, there's nothing else to worry about. But when 2018 came and then we had back-to-back 4 surgeries within 2 years, what did you think? Like, what was your, like, just thinking about me, like, what were you thinking?
I was like, "Man, this ain't fair for my brother. Not for anybody else.
Yeah.
Man, this ain't fair." But I was like, "Man, and at the same time, man, this man's stubborn. He is stubborn. Why can't he wait? Why can't he pace these things out? Like, why does it have to be now? Give your body time to rest."
I got that a lot.
Um, but just frustrated, and uh, you're never not scared as a sibling like myself. You're never not scared. I don't have too much faith in humans. In humans, God, yes.
Too.
Humans, no.
These surgeons in their hands.
That's why we always like just guide their hands. You be the instrument. You be the surgeon. You be the anesthesiologist. You be the nurse. Referring to God. Just more so like it almost became. I never get used to it, but you get more used to it. Like you don't get completely used to it, but it's just procedure, recovery, this, that. But when it comes to dealing with the heart, it's always terrifying. But feeling about you, I just felt like, man, I don't ever want you to feel pain. So It's more so I just don't want. I wish it's just that feeling of, man, this ain't fair. I don't want my brother to be in pain. I don't want my brother to keep having these surgeries or needing these surgeries.
Me neither, sister.
Yeah.
Me neither. But okay.
So more so, yeah. I didn't think you were gonna, especially after that first one when you walked out that dang hospital in 3 days. I was like, golly. But I didn't think you would leave us. But that 2018 one, I was like, God dang. What's it? You said it was 2018?
Yeah, November 2018. A week after Thanksgiving.
Oh, because we had just seen you. No?
You just seen
Yeah, we
me.
did.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Like drove down.
Why do I feel like I brought that girl with me?
No, you like honestly, you were back, you left, you spent like a good amount of time with me in the hospital. You spent like at least out of my 12 days, you were there for like 6 of them.
I think so. I'm trying to remember.
You left towards the latter end of me in the hospital, and then you came back like 2 days after. You and Ken full gear.
Yeah, you come back. Yeah, I think for your recovery or whatever, or just to be there.
Yeah.
But no, it's mostly I just felt it was unfair. I don't want you to have pain or have to go through procedures that will cause you physical pain. More so. And it was just like, I didn't think, not thinking life was unfair, because, we have pretty decent people around us. You've done well for yourself as far as like school. You've always been independent since forever. And you do well. So I'm not gonna say, oh, life is not fair. It's the pain and the procedures that are not fair. Morfan is okay, because especially since you started care earlier in life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a is what it is thing. I don't see y'all any different. It's just something, it's just something y'all had. They had to go to the doctor for it. Some people have ADD. Some people have,
which is true.
And it's just a part of life. And it just is.
So,
it just is.
So, okay. I mean, I can tell you now, I don't want to have any more surgery. I don't. I'm over the surgery
coming
game.
Coming back in.
I'm overspending any time.
Everybody out of my way.
As long as we're not doing
that
the John
nasty
Q
food
thing, we ain't got to do the John Q thing. We'll be But yeah, again, everybody's
move.
like, I love hospital food. I was like, y'all are nasty. Hospital food.
Wait, what? I was like, did they switch up again? Did they switch it up recently? Because
after the first day, literally after the first day, the only thing I can fathom in hospitals is apple juice. Because the Sprite tastes like it's mixed with berry punch or something. Like, it's disgusting. But that's neither here nor there. But nope, I don't want any more hospital stays. I don't want you guys to come out here in a rush.
But even if you do need to, we'll be there.
Exactly.
Not saying you will. Let me find some wood to knock on. But listen, anything go down, you already know. I'm on the first thing smoking.
So, next question is, can you share any inspiring moments related to my diagnosis that has inspired you?
Inspired?
Like is there anything that I have done with having my diagnosis, like, that's inspired you? Like, if he could do that while having his diagnosis, anybody can do it. Is there anything? And if there's not, there's not.
Man, like, you always been top notch, man. got to cut it out, man. You putting us all to shame. Um, it's just, I think sometimes, sometimes, not in all the things that you do, you use, or you use your condition as a motivator to be great. I mean, you already have the correct characteristics of somebody who's very motivated, just mentally, um, and disciplined. But in life, and how you've been living your life over these past, 10 years or so, I think you instead of letting your condition get you down, you are living life the way a lot of people should. You're adventurous, you're health conscious, you travel, you share more of yourself now to help others. That's it. That's inspiring. It's just seeing, like, man, just seeing how you move makes me, as your older sister, want to be more intentional about seeing the rest of the world, doing things, not staying in your home state, not doing traditional vacations, go work out. Listen, you've inspired me to get a trainer. Well, the extra 60 pounds, and you have inspired me to get a trainer. I start going on my walks and now taking care of myself in the mental space. So more so, what's inspiring is how you hey, gunshot. You can bleep that if it's not acceptable on the platform.
Everything goes
but the way you live, not saying it's because you're diagnosed, but I'm sure it's just a little asterisk as to why you do the most. And when I say the most, it means like no, it's in a good way. The way that everybody should be doing the most for themselves. The way everybody should be doing the most for themselves. That's inspiring. And I think, yeah, your motivator is the Morfans. Marfans?
Marfan.
But that's your, it's a source of fuel. It's not all the fuel. It's not the sole factor. But I see that you're living in the face of, not in spite of, but like in the face of. So that's my inspiration. My baby brother is out here. Hand clap. Applause. Woo!
That's dope. So I want to ask you one more thing before we begin to wrap it up. So I was on ChatGPT last night trying to get some interview questions ready.
Oh, man.
And I got a couple, but I want to ask you and I think this one goes perfectly with all the haters out there. So this question is, what are some misconceptions or misunderstandings you think people may have about Marfan syndrome, and how we can help raise awareness or correct those misconceptions?
Some misconceptions are, not even getting checked to see if you have it, and going through life blindly, without proper care. That's not wise. Misconceptions are that you got to handle them with like kid gloves. Uh, no, sit down. Don't do that. Don't do that. No, no, no. Or um, that you have to be like set aside, especially when it comes to physical activity. Um, or it's more so physical misconceptions that people have,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to limit your activity
Mm-hmm.
because oh my god, you see a slim child, you be like, oh, he needs to go sit down. Oh my
Fragile.
god. Yeah, like you just think he's like Mr. Glass. It's like, no, he's not Mr. Glass. Um and that people may think there's no quality of life if if you are blessed with a child with more who may be, born with more fam. The best quality of life. What are you talking about? Life is what you make it. Um so yeah, physical misconceptions that it's just like y'all gotta sit out and not do things, or oh god, his grandma would say, oh god, it looks like the poor picked it up. Like he's fine. He's fine.
And the
Feed
grandma,
him.
I would
He'll want
say,
food.
grandma, I love grandma. Um, However, she 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 babied me. Like
Yeah, yeah,
all the
yeah.
years that I would come to New York, she looked at
Come
me as that
eat.
fragile grandchild.
Fragile.
Because like
No.
again, we know grandma. She has the apartment and what the house and how it's set up. And I would go outside to help her with grocery bags, and I'm like, grandma. She was
Pop
like,
your
no,
head.
no, go sit down. And I was just like,
Go sit down.
and
But you was like at the time what, 80 something, 70 something.
I'm
Now
like,
she's what, 93.
I'm trying to help you out,
I'm
but
trying to help you. You got like gallons of milk and frozen chickens. Like, you want to carry that upstairs?
and she did at that
Mm-hmm.
age and at this age, she still does it.
she,
But
she, she grocery
grandma,
bag challenge.
and I would, and it's not just grandma. And again, this goes to like again the family how we were talking about in the beginning of this podcast. And I've talked about it in other
Cruel.
podcasts.
Oh no.
It's just that they didn't know. And again, it was a blessing that my sister was in New York. We're having lighting difficulties on Sharifa's end, but
It was like, you're done.
it was during the time my sister lived in New York and stuff, and we'd go up every summer. She like again, I was her first baby, as she would say. Like that's what it is, honestly. Whatever. But
I put my little ducats to the side and buy y'all little outfits with my JCPenney discount.
we had the hookup, people. When my sister lived in New York, we had the hookup. But she would be the protector of me when I went to New York, because
they were cruel.
the family up there, they were cruel. They didn't know anything, so they and again, let's not even say cruel. They were ignorant to, and that sounds worse, don't it? But they were ignorant to what was actually going on. Again, I love them the same. It's just getting older, I noticed that ignorance would be the word. So therefore, they only came up with solutions on what they thought would work when they saw a skinny child eat meat. And at that time, they thought that mommy having us on a vegetarian diet was the problem of why I did not gain any weight.
Right.
So every time going to New York, stuff them with meat.
Big meat energy, like just like chicken,
like,
oxtail.
This isn't. I enjoy the food, but I'm not gonna gain the weight by 24 hours from now. So yeah, like again, and I think like the ignorance did definitely came outside of mommy's household.
Outside of your core
Yeah,
household
like as soon as I
family.
would step out, they'd be like, "He okay?" Or one cousin of ours, like, "Oh, he needs to drink real milk. Soy milk is not going to do anything
Oh
for him."
my
And
God, that
I,
part,
I could
that
go down
part.
the line of the, the thing, the I
You know,
thing
since
they used to
he
say,
MAGA,
and
MAGA,
then it's a lot. And for those that don't know what MAGA mean, it means skinny and small. You
very
know,
skinny.
it was a thing. But
Oh yeah, the real milk part, that part.
it,
Jeez, or
I
the
now again,
the dairy.
if y'all are listening to this, I love y'all all the same. I just hope that this podcast, this episode, has shed some light onto what it is that y'all did not know I was going through and continuing to go through all that time. So let's be less ignorant about the comments that we make. But
But
and then
listen,
again, now I'm at the age to where you can call me and I can explain to you everything. Or again, you can listen to this podcast if you don't want to call me or don't have my number. But
give it 5 stars.
oh yeah, and then rate, do all that. We're gonna get to that. But nah, I think again, we're reached to a point to where, like, even again, Sharifa with Kimani coming home, and then me being born, and then just noticing his differences, what he's going through, then me as the child and my quote unquote deformities. It is what it is. But again, Sharifa definitely reached from a place of caring ignorance to like, oh no, oh it's your heart, go to the doctor. Oh, it's your feet, what's up with a foot massage? Or like, she knows what to do. Are you feeling the pain? Where's the pain? Instead of just like the normal Jamaican remedy, go drink some tea. But
Go drink some tea.
but no, it's again to know that there's an extra step that you need to take is definitely where my sister stepped in. A lot of those moments where I wasn't next to my mom and stuff like that. That's why I will always say that my sister is like a mom to me, and
The nicer one. The
definitely
nicer
the
one.
nicer one. But my sister is definitely like a mom to me. So as we're winding down, I have if you listen to my podcast, sister, I have words of advice and conclusion. So for now, my words of advice, and I'm gonna read it twice. Read it twice. Let the people close to you know that you love them and appreciate them. And so I want to let you know, I love you, Sharifa. I appreciate you. From birth to now, from hernia surgery to now, from first heart surgery to now, from second heart surgery to now, from moving out to Texas and the support to now. I appreciate you and I love you. But again, for the people listening, words of advice: let the people close to you know that you love them and appreciate them, because honestly, you never know when you're gonna go, and you never know when they're gonna go. So again, it's quote unquote giving them their flowers.
Yay.
However, for this segment, since we do have someone on here, Sharifa, do you have any words of advice for the people?
Well, no, wait, hold on. Sorry. First of all, let me just say I love you too. I love you since you were that big baby in that belly. From the time you came out with all that black hair, and to this day, and for 100 more years, to this day, and for 100 more years, and everything you do for me, you will never be wrong. Never, 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 never. You are is a lot of my siblings, some of the first loves of my life, and I will I will not, let me not say, I don't want to put bad into the world. I would do all the good things for you guys. All the
Mhm.
good things. Some felonies.
I was about to say if
But no,
somebody could catch the
words of
spade,
advice.
if y'all a fade, she'll catch one of
um, Man, I just love my siblings, and Elijah, you make me so proud. Golly, I want to be like you when I grow up. Yeah, man. Words of advice. Words of advice. You
them.
can
Anything. Be supportive for your family members, no matter their diagnosis, whatever comes to mind.
allow those family members who have been given a different set of cards to inspire you. Uh, Whether it's if they are, I've always been a very observative person, like just sitting back and observing. Some people call it nosy, but I use other people's actions as wisdom. So if somebody's doing something wrong, I don't need to do it too to know that it's wrong. If somebody's doing something right, and you see them happy and enjoying themselves and giving back to the world, take note and apply it to yourself. If you don't feel happy, if you're not moving, if you're feeling stagnant, um, not in an envious way, but an inspiring way. Um, just take the good for the good, and just notice the bad for the bad. Life is not that complicated. I mean, we make it complicated, but just be good. Just be courteous, kind, and good.
Mhm.
That's all we have the power to be, because like really we don't control, as humans, we don't control nothing in this world but yourself and your heart. So
Mhm.
just be good humans, like thoughtful, try to keep negative words out your mouth. I be trying to, because Elijah, sometimes I crack on people sometimes, but I have a good heart. um just be a good human being. Don't do people dirty. We got enough going on in this world. We got to reverse all this juju in this world. So, in a way to do it is just show love, be kind, courteous, and just good to people. That's it.
I don't
Don't
remember
talk
her
bad to your
first
children.
line. I don't remember her
What is
first
it?
line, but her
Something
first
about
line was a banger. So, if
not
if a family member of yours has been dealt a different deck of cards, let them
not a less
inspire you.
set, just different set.
Let
Nobody's
them
less than.
let them inspire you to do something. However, she said it. Y'all can replay it. That is probably the best words of advice
You
that
could
I've had on
you
this
could put a little
podcast.
byline.
Uh, oh, that too. That means I got to do some major editing. But thank you for that. And again, as y'all can see, and if you're new, if you know me, if you're close to me, Sharifa's personality is very much close to mine. Um, leave people in mind, leave
Silly
people
Billy.
business in mind their own. For one, I've lived.
Literally, and mind your own. I
I've
ain't
got
see Jack. I
I,
ain't see. I ain't see Jack.
I got that from my sister. But again, be kind. My sister is one of the kindest people
I be trying.
on this earth.
Not falsely. I'm not a faker.
Um, and again, Sharifa has her again, like she just said it. She can talk about people. Don't try her. However, she is one of the kindest people on this earth, and a lot of my personality traits does come from my sister. Um, so everything that she says, best believe that she does. When it's in her heart, she makes that point of kindness or sharing happen. Um, so yeah,
Got to, man.
so don't microscope her words. Just know she talking from the heart. And if you got a
Yeah,
problem,
man.
write it in the comments so I can get the traction.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
However, in conclusion, I didn't write one down today. However, the conclusion for this episode would probably be FOE, family over everything. And of course
Man.
that includes your very close friends, but FOE, family over everything. Keep them dear, keep them near. There, you just never know. For one, when you're gonna need them, what's gonna pop off. Uh, but yeah, family over everything. So keep them near and dear. If this again, if now that goes for your friends, for the close friends, for your partners in life, all of that, keep them near and dear because again, you want them to be there for you when you're going through tough times as much as you would want to be there for them, and they allow you to be there for them when they're going through tough times. So keep those relationships very healthy, good standing, and things of that nature.
My term
Yeah,
is uh, be a safe place
there we go.
for those. For you got to be a safe place for people. Just be a safe place for your loved ones.
Again, if you want those people to feel comfortable with you and talk to you when the going gets rough, be that safe place for them beforehand. Again, I know I have a lot of safe places where I can talk to and get advice from and things like that. Outside of my family as well. But again, those relationships were curated and nurtured to where it became a safe space that I know I could count on this person either not to repeat what I said, to take care of what I said. There's probably a better word for that.
Take care of it.
But and just, or again, tell me what I need to hear. So again, FOE, safe space, safe place, and yeah, man. So signing off. Again, shout out to Sharifa Guacatima. We are here. Thank you for being.
I've heard that in forever.
And I will never forget it. Thank you for being my first guest on the podcast, and you'll probably be back on here when I figure out another topic. And
what an
first
honor.
on the air, I am expanding my podcast channels to incorporate more things to just talk about. So you'll be a guest on one of those other podcasts that I have as well. Thanks again for being my experiment the first time around with this video call.
Man,
stuff.
what a honor.
So we're gonna have to I'm gonna have to edit this and see how it goes. And I'll do you a solid and send you the video because, like I said, this won't be posted till August or September sometime. So I'll give you when I finish editing and stuff like that. It's gonna be a large file, so we're gonna have to figure out how to get that to you. But
it's gonna take forever to get on
Dropbox is a thing. I don't know, but I'm gonna send it to you when I'm done editing. Hopefully, you like it. Either way, you gotta post it. So yeah, shout out to you. Shout out to BSW. Shout out to my friends. Shout out to my family. Shout out for Sharifa telling me a piece of the story that I've either forgotten or didn't hear about.
Repressed.
Or highly repressed it because I've talked about this surgery time and time again over this podcast. That never came up. But dang, I almost died again. Oh man,
they tried to kill my dog.
Oh man, but yeah, shout out to all of that. How to reach me. Again, it's all in the caption, all in the description for the video, for the podcast. The Marfan homie on all platforms. Public enemy on Instagram. For my personal stuff. Then for my sister, so as I didn't say, and as she probably doesn't tell anybody anymore, my sister is a great, phenomenal photographer. So I think it's Reef
Oh
Uptown
man.
Girl Photography on Instagram. Uh, I'm gonna
No,
shout
just
that
Uptown Girl photo.
Uptown Girl
Uptown
Photo.
Girl photo.
Is her photography Instagram. If you want to show my sister some love and ask her sibling advice to, again, situations like these where one sibling may be affected by something and the other one necessarily isn't. Um, Reef
Oh
Uptown
man,
Girl.
that'd be great.
Reef Uptown Girl is her Instagram.
The
Um,
my personal.
yeah, that's her personal Instagram. So we got Uptown Uptown Girl Photo. We'll figure it out. Uptown
Mm-hmm.
Girl Photo for photography.
All your business agrees.
All your business, and she also does party decorating and stuff like that. I'm trying to get her back on the map. She took a little hiatus. We're trying to bring it back in.
I live in Mexico.
And then Merida, little region. So if you're in there,
Merida.
she does that.
Merida.
What else was I going to say? If you're a sibling of someone that has been affected and you're not necessarily affected, but you care for them, if you need any advice, you
Yes.
can reach out to her on. I'm just volunteering her on Uptown Girl Reef Uptown. What is it? Go ahead and say it.
Reef. Just Reef Uptown Girl. Reef,
There we
as
go.
in same way you spell coral reef, right?
Oh yeah,
Reef.
REEF Uptown Girl on Instagram. And then the
Shout
states
out to
that
the
you
BX.
see here, exactly, Bronx, New York, all day. Even though I'm from Atlanta, but you know the vibes. Like I told a lot of
You
people,
know the
I spent
vibes.
a lot of summers up there, so I'm partially from there. Tell me if I'm not. I'll let you know. But so yeah, shout out to the Bronx. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to all the family in the Bronx. Again, I have nothing against y'all. It's just again, you know what you
You
know,
just
and
said
you
some
know what
horrible.
you
You know what you did. You know what you did. I'm kidding.
But
I'm kidding.
I love all y'all. Grandma, I love you. But yeah, that's how to reach us. All that stuff will definitely be in the description. What else? Again, subscribe, repost, and of course, ding the bell on YouTube. And we're gonna keep this thing rocking. So again, like I said, this is my sister, Sharifa Morton. I'm Eli, the Marfan homie, and we are definitely signing out of this thing. We've been on here for some time. I appreciate you, sister. Appreciate you for taking this time out your day.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know what I was signing up for, but I'm glad.
We are out of here, people. This is the Marfan homie signing off. Peace.
Hey.